Hey everyone, it's RobbbRyder. Today on Sunday, October 21st, 2018. Election fraud and other high crimes and misdemeanors, which would be offenses against the United States. And this is building on the last video I had done on the Crimes Act of 1790. And so if you were to go to RobbbRyder, RobbbRyder, and search by upload date, it was the one I had done just before, right? Crimes Act of 1790. And then this one on Scrivener errors builds into it too. Consists of the one that talks about all the errors that are on these legal documents, like your house mortgage or deed of trust, the title insurance that you think you have, but they really didn't do things quite right, and the warranty deed or security, well, not called a security deed, grant deed, whatever they call the thing in your state that makes you think that you own your property. Well, none of those have your name on it. They all have legal fictions, and they have numerous other Scrivener errors, right? So it's an error until you go and tell somebody and they won't fix it. Well, then it becomes an omission. And, well, an omission's a sin. And really, all crimes are sins because they're crimes against God. So that's why you got to find the Court of Chancery, the ecclesiastic court, to get them to agree with us. Or the military. That'll work too. But back to why we're here. So, election fraud and other high crimes and misdemeanors, offenses against the United States. So here, just the other day, after I had done the video on Crimes Act of 1790, I contacted the Attorney General for Michigan, and I got a response. And I don't remember getting one before with a citizen's inquiry number on it, but I got one this time, so that in itself is different. They didn't put my address up here. That kind of bothers me. But nevertheless, it said the Attorney General has asked me to respond to your October 10, 2018 email, which states, I wish to inform the Attorney General of ongoing offenses against the state of Michigan and the United States by individuals falsely claiming an office established by the Constitution. Well, that's what I showed in this video on Crimes Act of 1790, that the prosecutor in Kalkaska County he's committing election fraud. But not just him. Really, anybody holding office is committing election fraud. So, well, since you've asked, Attorney General, I'm going to give you some more information. Thank you very much. You further indicated that you can't submit your information to a paralegal employed by the Attorney General. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to make it a legal document. And I can't write a legal document. I'm not qualified. And we're not in a civil law system unless you're in equity, admiralty, and maritime. That's all done by the civil law. But criminal is done by the common law. And so I need a paralegal, the person that can write a legal document in the common law system, is what I'm saying, to write the thing for me. Okay, you can, so what did they have to say? Well, you can submit details of your above quoted allegation of unlawful conduct to the Office of Attorney General Bill Schuette, Department of Attorney General, G. Menon Williams Building, 525 West Ottawa Street, P.O. Box 30212, Lansing, Michigan 48909. That's like a 5-level address, right? Office of Attorney General Bill Schuette. Next line, Department of Attorney General. Next line, G. Menon Williams Building. Next line, 525 Ottawa Street. Da-da-da. The point is, if I had just said I'm going to mail it to Department of Attorney General, I would have missed the first line of the address on where to send the information to. This is where the proper addressing is so important. And this is from the Division Chief of State Operations Division. Well, Cynthia, you're using the middle initial, so we're going to have to talk about that before we're over. But that's okay. And sure enough, that's what I asked, and well, that was their reply. And so part of my answer to them, which I need to write yet, is this video. So I can say, hey, go look at the video I did, and I'll show you all the documents. It's much easier for me to show the documents and talk about them than show the documents and write about them. But what were some of the highlights in the Crimes Act of 1790? Well, here's some. Counterfeit, certificate, indent, or other public security of the United States. That's a crime against the United States. So that would be a certificate of election or a certificate of appointment or a contract or title insurance or certificate of insurance or an oath of office. Well, if they're counterfeit, in other words, they look like they're good, but they're of no value, it's a counterfeit, well, that's a crime against the United States. And none of these people who run for office have a valid certificate of election or a proper oath of office, and none of the people appointed have a valid certificate of appointment or oath of office. They're all counterfeits. I'm sorry, Bill, it's just the way it is. So you're going to be busy. And Bill Schuette, he's running for governor, so he should know better. Okay, what else is? Well, how about if you alter, falsify, or otherwise avoid any record, writ, process, or other proceeding in any of the court of the United States? Well, what is a court of the United States? That would be any court where the federal law applies. And that would be any court that has a gold fringe flag flying in it, which is Army flag. It's a military flag. I don't think it's Admiralty. I'm quite sure it isn't. I mean, I know it's Army because I can go show you, or you can go look yourself. In Army Regulation 840-10, Google it. It'll come up. Section 2, like 2.2, 2.3 in there to tell you, define the flag with the gold fringe on, what it is. That'll tell you where it can fly. And one of the places is in a military courtroom. Well, it's in that courtroom. And a gentleman was told one time by the judge, because he asked him, well, what's the significance of the gold fringe flag? And the judge says, well, that signifies that the federal law applies here. Then don't argue with it. Okay, within any of the places under the sole and exclusive jurisdiction of the United States, which would be anything within the territorial boundary of the thing we call the United States, not the corporation of the United States, not these other definitions of the United States. No, the territorial boundary that goes all the way around it. Everything within that is the sole and exclusive jurisdiction of the United States. If you don't believe so, invade and see what happens. Well, unfortunately, that is what's happened. We've been invaded by domestic terrorists who wear who wear black robes and act as attorneys at law. All of them using counterfeit documents. All the public officials, they're all using counterfeit documents. We got a lot of work to do, Army. We got a big mess to clean up. Okay, let's continue on. With any other places under the sole and exclusive jurisdiction of the United States, or upon the high seas, shall take and carry away, with the intent to steal or purloin the personal good of another, knowing and privy till the offense is aforesaid, shall on conviction be fined not exceeding fourfold value of the property so stolen, embezzled, or purloined. The one moiety to be paid to the owner of the goods or the United States, as the case may be, and the other moiety to the informer and the prosecutor. Right, it's a good, so it pays. You get a reward for turning in somebody who's embezzling money. And be publicly whipped, not exceeding 39 stripes. After all, this is common law. So, who does that apply to? Well, that would be the attorney sitting over in that other chair in a foreclosure saying he's representing a plaintiff that really doesn't exist. And the attorney isn't using his full legal name. They're not using your full legal name. The judge isn't using their full legal name. They're not using the proper name of the court. It goes on and on and on, and yet there's a gold fringe flag in there. So no matter what they want to say, well, the federal law applies. So all they're doing is simulating a legal process under color law, which is an offense of 18 U.S.C. 242. How about this? Any person shall willfully, corruptly commit perjury, or shall by any means procure any person to commit corrupt and willful perjury on his or her oath or affirmation in any suit, controversy, matter, or cause, depending on any court of the United States. Well, that would be an offense against the United States. Of course, there's treason and misprision of treason, which would be knowing about treason and not telling somebody. Well, I know about it. I'm telling people right now. I'm not going to be guilty of misprision of treason. Okay, but committing perjury. So, for instance, in Michigan, anybody who wants to run for office has to file an affidavit of identity. And they got to put their name on there. Well, if that name isn't the name they're using on their oath of office, I'd say they committed perjury. And they're not. And so I'm going to show all sorts of examples of this. This would be a lot of me showing pieces of paper as documents to substantiate my claim, but it is what it is. And so quit blaming the United States. It isn't the United States that's the problem. The problem is none of the offices in the United States have a constitutional officer in them. All the offices have been vacated. And if anything, we're under United States of America, King George III jurisdiction law, because there is nobody in the United States constitutional offices. Okay, a few more details. My email address, RobbbRyder, is courtofrecord@AOL.com. COURTOFRECORT@AOL.com. Phone number 616-712-6179. Please donate if you can, or call it Pay It Forward. Keep us going down the tracks. PayPal and Zelle. 2 ways to do it. Using RobbbRyder, RobbbRyder, at AOL.com. That's the PayPal and Zelle name, account, whatever they would call it. Or you could send me an email and ask for a PayPal money request. Tell me how much you'd like to donate. I contact you through PayPal. You can use your credit card. Or there's always snail mail to Robert Allen Rytlewski, RYTLEWSKI, at 10955 14 Mile Road, Northeast, NE, Unit 55, Rockford, Michigan, 49341. I wouldn't get this mail. That'd be bad news. 49341-8664. You should write that down right now. Okay, so give me a minute to get my papers in order, and we'll begin to inform Attorney General Bill Schuette of the problems in the United States, such as election fraud and other high crimes and misdemeanors, which are offenses against the United States. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so let's start with Article 6 of the Constitution of the United States, where it says the senators and all representatives, before mentioned, and then like in Article 1, and the members of the several state legislatures, well, we know who that would be, and all executive and judicial officers, both of the United States and the several states. Okay, well, that would be, well, all the state officers and all the United States officers, both executive and judicial. Well, that would include attorneys. They're officers of the court. They may not be judicial officers, but they're executive officers or administrative officers of the court. Shall be bound by oath or affirmation to support this Constitution. Keyword, support. You can defend it, protect it, but you need to say you're going to support it, or you didn't comply with the 6th article of the Constitution. But no religious test shall ever be required as a qualification to any office of public trust under the United States. Okay, so this pretty much says, well, the senator and representatives, right? And then all, A-L-L, well, I'm sorry, man, I'm an enlisted military. All means all. Shall means shall. I don't need it to be explained to me. It's really, it either is or isn't. Either you're using your full legal name or you're not, right? Things like that. And if you're not using your full legal name, then you haven't properly identified yourself. And so you shall not pass. And if you try to pass, I shall shoot your ass. That's the way they would do it in the military. So all executive and judicial officers, well, the president is an all. He's one of the executive officers. Why? Because the executive power shall be vested in President of the United States of America. So here we go. This is Article 2 now, where it's going to be vested in the President of the United States of America. Well, who is that? Does that make him the President of the United States also? Or the President of the United States of America, which is, the United States of America is King George's venue. Treaty of Peace, 1783, King George III says, da-da-da-da-da, and United States of America. Like it's one of his possessions, right? It's a dominion. And then he needs to take an oath. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States. It doesn't say United States of America, right? That's where this is supposed to be going. And will do, and to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, defend the Constitution of the United States. But he didn't say support. Well, because he didn't take an oath to support the Constitution yet, as we'll see where it is, he's still not the president. He's just the president-elect. And the president-elect doesn't have any frickin' power. He's not in office. So that means he can't do the rest of the things the president should be able to do, which are listed in Section 2. And 3 and 4. And 3, so if Donald J. Trump would become Donald John Trump and become President of the United States of America by taking an oath as the President of the United States, and another oath that I'll show you he has to take, then he could do these things. And what he could do is he could adjourn Congress and tell them all to go home and none of them come back until they got their freaking paperwork in order. That's your answer, Donald J. Trump. You become Donald John Trump, President of the United States of America, and adjourn Congress. And don't let them come back till they have their paperwork straightened out. Because he shall take care that the laws be faithfully executed, and shall commission all officers of the United States. Well, until he's the president, he can't commission any officers of the United States. Obama couldn't commission any officers of the United States. There are no commissioned officers of the United States. There are no federal judges. There's no commissioned officers. I don't know what to tell you. Unless he is President of the United States of America and taking the proper oaths, filed a procedure, then he can't commission anybody. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, defend the Constitution of the United States. But he didn't say support. Where would that be? Okay, so this is the Constitution. It gets ratified. Well, now the first Congress goes and sits down and they start to write some laws. All right, and one of the laws they write would be the first law of the first Congress after the ratification of the Constitution, and their very first law was an act to regulate the time and manner of administering certain oaths, being enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled. That the oath or affirmation required by the 6th article of the Constitution of the United States shall be administered in the form following, to wit, I state your name, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States, period, end of statement. They need to take that oath just like that by itself, or they have not complied with 1 Stat 23, which is the first law of the first Congress, given in the first sentence of the first statute. And then it goes on to say who has to take it. And, well, it's everybody. Yada, yada, yada. So enough said. That's why they have to do it, right? Yeah, they have to take more than one oath of office. I don't care. They got to take more than one. They have to take this one separately. I, Robert Allen Ritlewski, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States. Period. Subscribe it. And that's one oath. Now, if there's another oath to take, which there is. And so here's one that most of the rest take. We saw the one that the president takes. Well, everybody else takes this oath. an individual, except the president, elected or appointed to an office of honor or profit in the civil service or uniformed services shall take the following oath. I state your name, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I will take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of office of which I am about to enter, so help me God. This section does not affect other oaths required by law. Well, they're talking about the one required by the Sixth Amendment, or the Sixth Article of the Constitution, which is the law. It says you need to take one to support the Constitution. But no religious test shall be required. So, right, they can't use this one that they're showing you here, because this one says, so help me God, it has a religious test. This isn't the one they're talking about. The one they're talking about where are you? Is here. 1 Stat 23. Statutes at large. Right? First. I don't even know how you're supposed to say that. 1 Stat 23. Statutes at large. First Congress, page 23. Right? Statute 1. Okay, enough said on that. Give me just a second. Okie dokie. So, a lot of housekeeping stuff to do first. I talk a lot about this thing called the full legal name, and that they're not using their full legal name. So if you wanted to know where that comes from, right, it's in 6 CFR, which is 6 Code of Federal Regulations, Part 37. Real ID, driver's licenses, and identification cards. Okay, so you think about it, well, what is the thing that you identify yourself by? And they ask for your driver's license. Well, that should have your identification. So whatever name you're using on your driver's license should be the name you're using on everything, if that's how you identify yourself. Right? So, well, this is the act that after 2020, you're not going to be able to get on an airplane unless you have an identification that complies with this act. And there's lots of people that seem to have a problem with this, and well, that's up to them. I don't have a problem with it. I'm not leaving the United States. I'm in the United States. I'm making those that don't want to be here or are an enemy of the United States, they're the ones leaving or going to a FEMA camp. So I want them to have I want every attorney to have a Part 37 compliant identification card that has his full legal name on it. Because in the definitions it says full legal name means an individual's first name, middle names, and last name or surname without use of initials or nicknames. And so now we're going to go look at a bunch of oaths of offices and stuff that use initials and nicknames. Well, then that isn't their full legal name. That isn't their identification. So you can't use that name on a freaking official document to say that's what gives you authority to enforce the law. It just isn't going to work. You may try to make it sound like it's going to work, but I'm going to get somebody with the guns to agree that it isn't proper, that you're not the proper civil authority, and to quit listening to your ass. Right? Requirements for a surface, a driver's license, or identification card to be accepted by a federal agency for official purposes. That's what I'm talking about, official purposes. Real ID, driver's licenses, and identification cards must include on the front of the card, unless otherwise specified below, the following information. Full legal name. What did we say the full legal name was? That would be the first name, middle names, last name, or surname without use of initials or nicknames. So if you're going to court and you look at the paperwork and you see an initial for somebody's name, not just yours, theirs, if you see an initial used on a citation that you get from a police officer, that ain't their full legal name, and it ain't legal. You need to tell them immediately of their error, because it's an error until they're made aware of it, and if they won't correct it, well, now it's an omission. They just committed a crime. Full legal name, full legal name, full legal name. Okay. Now we looked at the oath that they're going to take. So anybody other than the president is going to take this oath. He's going to take the one in Article 2, and he needs to take one in 1 Stat 23. And everybody but him is supposed to take this oath. And then because this section does not affect other oaths required by law, well, because everybody has to take the oath in 1 Stat 23, they need to take that one too. If you haven't taken the oath in 1 Stat 23, all by itself, you have not complied with the Constitution, and you do not have any authority under the United States. You're just pretending to have it. And that's going to catch up with you. But if they had taken that oath, they would be filling out this form here, which is called what is it? Standard Form 61. So that's anybody in the military or anybody in the government of the United States. All right, the position, department, and then it says, I state your name, do solemnly swear or affirm that. All right, and then it starts oath of office. Well, what they did is they bifurcated the oath of office. So you're really not taking this oath of office. Right? I, A, B, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support. Right? I don't see no periods. I don't see any breaks in any of that right there. And yet in this form, they break it and put a oath of office. That isn't the oath of office. With I state your name, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend is the oath of office. So this document is evidence that these people haven't taken a proper oath of office, even for 5 U.S.C. 3331. Okay, what else do we have? Now here is one. This is the one taken by oath of office of military personnel. I state your name, right? First name, middle name, last name. No room for initials. That would be your full legal name and social security number. Having been appointed to the office in the Army of the United States as do solemnly swear or affirm, I will support and defend, so help me God. Well, this one isn't going to quite do what 1 Stat 23 once done. I mean, it's got a lot of the right stuff in there, but it didn't do. 1 Stat 23 didn't say to put your social security number in. So you may have to take this one, but it ain't quite enough. How about the National Guard? I state your name, first, middle, last name. Full legal name. Do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State, Commonwealth, District of, against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. I will obey the orders of the President of the United States and the Governor of the State of Commonwealth. So, Donald J. Trump, this is why you want to get yourself squared away, sir, because Donald J. Trump just isn't going to make it. It needs to be Donald John Trump. He would be the 45th President of the United States. Donald J. Trump is Donald John Trump, President-elect, but not President. Sorry to say. But you could fix it. Wouldn't take long. Right? And then if you did, well, these people here, they got to take orders from you. If you notice in this oath that officers take, they don't take an oath to the President of the United States. Right? Them words ain't in here about President of the United States. The National Guard does. I will obey the orders of the President of the United States. Okay. And, well, you know what? So does the enlisted. I state your name, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, And I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and I will obey the orders of the President of the United States and the orders of the officers appointed over me according to the regulations of the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So help me God. That's the one the enlisted take. Although enlisted aren't commissioned officers, so they don't need to do all these other things that they talk about. They're not taking an office under the United States. They're not commissioned officers. But they are taking an oath to the President of the United States and to the officers appointed over him. Now, we need to have some properly appointed officers, and all that could be taken care of if we would just get down to it. And so, Donald John Trump, I suggest you get a hold of this guy here, the senior enlisted advisor to the chairman. Because if you've been looking for the Great Seal, this guy's got it on his collar. It's the only individual in the military that gets to wear that on his collar, which would be the coat of arms of the United States. That would be the senior enlisted advisor to the chairman, which now is Command Sergeant Major John W. Troxel. Which, as I was looking this up, I had to laugh or snicker. I mean, I don't know what's going on. But the U.S. military's top enlisted leader is suspended amid investigation. It's like, what? Oh, jeepers, I'm reading this thing. Stars and Stripes. Hey, that'd be the Army's magazine. Yeah, that would be him. And it said he got himself in a little bit of trouble. He's been suspended from his duties pending an Inspector General's investigation to complaint of alleged misconduct. Which is just evidence that it doesn't really matter military how high you get. Whether you do something, you can be brought down low. Now, I hope it's all a misunderstanding. But what this guy just recently said, to show you how he feels about terrorists, enemies of the United States, he said if they choose not to surrender, then we will kill them with extreme prejudice, whether that be through security force assistance, by dropping bombs on them, shooting them in the face, or beating them to death with our entrenching tools. I think he means it. So all we need to do is convince him that all the enemies, terrorists, aren't international. We have a bunch of them that are domestic. Or they're just individuals that made a big mistake, and they'll, come forward on their own and ask forgiveness, so we can all move on in God's plan. So that's how you clear up the problem, Donald John J. Trump. You become Donald John Trump, and you get with your senior enlisted and hatch a plan. Go and visit all of these black robe priest offices and bring your entrenching tool. You can leave it in the sheath. And convince them that they're not going to do what they've been doing. And that everybody's going to take the proper oath of office and get their procedurally correct commission put in a book with a number, the way things are supposed to be. Ask a notary what they're supposed to do. That's what you need to do. If you're going to issue a certificate to somebody, and it's going to have any value, it needs to have a number on it, and it needs to be logged in a book that the certificate was created. And you look at these people's pieces of paper, and it makes you laugh or cry, and you see what it is that they're getting away with by counterfeiting public securities of the United States. Which, hey, that's an offense against the United States, so I'm not putting up with it. You're going to have to stop. Alrighty, hang on a second. Okay, so. Election fraud and other high kinds of misdemeanors. Counterfeit certificate, and then other public security of the United States. That would be one of them. Let's see what those look like. Okay, so for instance, let's start here. I asked for a FOIA You see it says County of Kent at the top, right? County of Kent, County of Kent. The following Kent County public body, well, received your request. The public body is the County of Kent. Well, then what's Kent County? Right? Only one of these can be the government, and the other one is a agency of the government, right? But it isn't the government. It's just doing something for the government. So, is the proper name of the county government Kent County or County of Kent? Well, the United States Department of Treasury says the authorized appellation, the name, right, is blank county. So here's Michigan. Here's all these Michigan counties. I don't have it for Kent, but if I did, it would say Kent County. It wouldn't say County of Kent. Right? So County of Kent isn't a jurisdiction of the government. If it's anything, it's a business of the government. Okay, so things should say county or should say Kent County. Now here is a seal of the Circuit Court of Kent County, Michigan. Okay, it doesn't say County of Kent. It says Kent County, Michigan. Well, this would be on a certificate that says it's from the state of Michigan, County of Kent. Well, they're not the same. Right? I, Mary Hollowrack, clerk of the County of Kent. Well, she ran for the clerk of Kent County, or Kent County clerk, however you want to say it, and clerk of the Circuit Court thereof, right? But she says County of Kent, clerk of the Circuit Court thereof, and this seal doesn't say anything about the County of Kent. It says Kent County. And she hereby certifies that this lady using the middle initial, whose name is ascribed to the certificate of proof of acknowledgement of the annexed instrument, and thereon written was, at the time of taking such proof and acknowledgement, a notary public in and for said county, residing and duly commissioned, sworn, authorized by laws of said state, to take acknowledgments and proofs. And further, that the handwriting of such notary public has been verified, and I believe the signature of said certificate of proof of acknowledgement is genuine. So this is the thing that you would have to put on a document that you had notarized if you wanted to send it out of your state. It's a certificate of authority. But it's a false certificate because it says County of Kent, and that isn't whose seal was put on here. It's Kent County. One can't speak for the other. And only one of them is the government. And, you need to go to the government, and the government isn't County of Kent. It's Kent County. This is like the venue, right? This is State of Michigan, County of Kent. That's supposed to be the venue. Well, it isn't. It's Kent County, Michigan. Right? Kent County, Michigan is the venue. I would say that's a false certificate. Now, here's one in, this is from Illinois. Certificate of Authority. Another certificate. And it's got these words in here, da-da-da-da-da. But what it doesn't have, where was that at? You're supposed to have this whole statement in here. Certificate of Authority upon request, upon the receipt of a written request, the notarized document, and a fee of $2 payable to the Secretary of State or County Clerk. The Office of Secretary of State or County Clerk shall provide a certificate of authority in substantially the following form. Substance. I state your name, State of Illinois, which office is an office record, having a seal, certify that, yada, yada, yada. Full faith and credit. That's the main thing. All right, he didn't say, and for said county in the state of Illinois, and keeper of the record of commissions and notaries do hereby certify that. It didn't say you had to see it. And it doesn't say it has full faith and credit. And it's somebody using the middle initial name, not their full legal name. In fact, when he ran for office as Kane County Clerk, he had a nickname stuck in the middle of his name. That's what's on his commission, as we'll see. But the certificate is fraud. Right, so every certificate that the county clerk in Michigan puts out, the county clerk in Kane, Illinois is putting out, and are based on this, are false securities, public securities of the United States. Okay, hang on a second. We'll get some more. Okay, Bill, Mr. Schuette, running for governor. But as your Attorney General, Bill Schuette took on Obama administration to protect Michigan jobs and won. Schuette fought for victims of crime and won. Schuette fought against corruption and won. Well, then you're going to understand the stuff I'm talking about, Bill, because that would mean you took this lawyer's oath, right? I do solemnly swear or affirm I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Michigan. I'll maintain the respect due courts of justice and judicial officers. I will not counsel or maintain an action or suit which shall appear to be unjust, nor any defense except such as I believe to be honestly debatable under the laws of the land. But you won't maintain a suit that appears to be unjust. Okay, so the point is, hey, lawyers take an oath too. Now, what did they do? Where's it? There we go. So here's an example of in Michigan or in any state, although they may not call it a roll of attorneys, R-O-L-L, roll of attorneys, they have a roll of attorneys. The Supreme Court of the state of Michigan has a roll of attorneys. They're the keeper of the roll of attorneys. And if you're on the roll of attorneys, you can practice law in Michigan. So I, Larry S. Royster, clerk of Michigan Supreme Court and custodian of the roll of attorneys admitted to practice of law in this state, do hereby certify that, as appears from the records, Dean Edward Rittberg was admitted to practice law in the courts of Michigan, or state of Michigan, on May 27, 1986. So Dean is using his full legal name here. Larry isn't using his full legal name. Larry S. Royster is not the clerk of the Michigan Supreme Court and custodian of the roll of attorneys. Larry S. Royster is pretending to be the clerk of the Michigan Supreme Court and custodian of the roll of attorneys. There's the seal of the Michigan Supreme Court, upon which Larry committed a crime. But he did say, doesn't change the fact that he said Dean Edward Rittberg, using that name is on the roll of attorneys. Well, if that's the case, then why did Dean Edward Rittberg instead call himself Dean E. Rittenberg, trial attorney, Office of U.S. Trustee? That isn't the name that he was licensed to practice law under in the state of Michigan. So since he isn't using that name, then he must not be practicing law in the state of Michigan. So if you're in a court case with Dean E. Rittenberg, you're not in a court in the state of Michigan. Right? They've taken you out of your venue. They've taken you to a foreign venue. Because Dean E. Rittenberg doesn't have the authority to do anything for anybody, and he certainly can't be an officer of the United States. He says he's working in the Office of U.S. Trustee. Well, that'd be an office of the United States. Well, no. He's got a false certificate. Or whatever the other choices were. What were the other choices? Oh, he's falsifying, otherwise avoid any record writ process or proceeding. That's what it is. He just did a false document. And so in the same case, right, they have the individual, right, that's supposed to be a party of interest, using the middle initial. Well, that isn't her full legal name. That is not her driver's license. This is supposed to be a court case. This is an official court document. No, it looks like one. It's a counterfeit official court document. Which John T. Gregg is either guilty or he's a victim. He can make the decision, right? He's learned of the law. He can decide if he's a victim of a conspiracy or is he a participant in the conspiracy. Because Daniel M. LaVille is not the clerk of anything, and it wasn't signed by anybody V. Wynn, deputy clerk. These are not people's full legal names. They don't have any fucking authority. So quit trying to make me believe that they do. You're going to send me a notice like this and say, notice of parties of interest in the hearing. I'm going to say what you're doing is a crime. I'm going to have your ass arrested. That's my goal. Dean Edward Rittenberg. That is your full legal name, but you're not using it in court. So that isn't the name that is authorized to practice law. See how easy that is? Hang on a minute. So, I hope I can make this clear enough to everyone that, this applies to everybody. Not just those that have a court case or whatever. This is election fraud. People who don't have any authority are pretending to have authority, and they are stealing your wealth. And whether they be domestic or international, they're terrorists. And they're enemies of the United States. They need to be stopped. And the military of the United States isn't your enemy. They just don't know yet that you're the civil authority that they should be listening to. And so we need to educate those that need the education. Starting with those that are committing the crime so that they can no longer say they didn't know. Right? Before they knew, they were blameless. But once they know, if they don't change their ways, well, now they commit the crime. So we need to go to them first. Go to your brother first. And say you've made an error. If you won't fix it, it's an offense against the United States. And I'm going to have you arrested. You have a counterfeit certificate or other public security. You've altered or falsified a fucking record of the court. And tell them the truth. That's what will set us free. So that's the idea, right? Just find something. It isn't that difficult to see. We're going to look at all sorts of shit. I've already shown it to you. It just takes one thing to be wrong, and it's wrong, and they won't fix it. It's a crime. They didn't use their full legal name, and it's supposed to be a legal matter. It is a crime. It's a counterfeit certificate. Indent, which is a contract, or other public security, such as an election certificate. Oath of office. Title insurance to your house. On and on and on. Right? They're counterfeits. They have Scrivener errors, and they won't fix them. They're counterfeits. So, where were we? I wanted to show you something. So, it could be as simple as this, right? Not only do they need to take an oath of office, it has to have the right words and the right grammatically correct oath of office. So, in Michigan, when you read, it says to use the oath of office in 1908. But then they have another oath of office that's in the 1963 Constitution of Michigan. And the difference, as you can see, is one Constitution is capitalized and the other one that isn't. Well, if they use either of these, okay, but in either case, is it exactly like one or the other of these on the piece of paper that they're taking the office for? And what office did they take it for? And what was the venue that they took it in? And it goes on and on and on. But, you know, even here, between the two different oaths of office, this one is out of MCL 15-151, Constitutional Oath of Office, employees and persons in service of the state, right? If you're working for the state, you're supposed to have taken the oath of office found in Section 2 of Article 16, Constitution 1908. And yet they put another one in the Constitution 1963. Now, they're not following either of them, so I guess it doesn't matter. But my point is that they're not the same as what is here. They're wrong. And even these two are conflict with each other. So we'll look and see what those look like. There's one other thing I wanted to show. So because I don't want to be doing this just for myself, right, I want you to go find your jots and tittles that are wrong and take it to your Attorney General. And what I did is I wrote my Attorney General at his email address I found online. Right? I wish to inform the Attorney General of ongoing offenses against the state of Michigan and the United States by individuals falsely claiming an office established by Constitution. All offices have to be established by Constitution, or they have nothing to do with the government. Right? And none of these are right because none of them are proper oath of office. And by doing that, then, you may submit details of your above quoted allegation of unlawful conduct, and they gave me a specific address to send it to. Maybe you would get the same thing if you were to email your Attorney General. But if you're in Michigan, you could stop right now and just write this down, and you could write your own for your own situation. Okay, so let's go look at some of these pieces of paper. So this is supposed to be my district commissioner, right? So the county is broken up into districts. We got like 19 districts in Kent County, and I'm in County Commissioner District 4. Right? So let's look at her oath of office. Well, County of Kent. That isn't part of this. That isn't Kent County. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state. I will faithfully perform the duties of the office of County Commissioner District 4 and for the County of Kent, State of Michigan, according to the best of my abilities. But that isn't the office that she ran for. She ran for the office of Kent County Commissioner. See what I'm saying? There is no County of Kent, State of Michigan. And if there is, then this is King George's jurisdiction. It's not the de jure state, which is Kent County, Michigan. And she had the Constitution has been capitalized, and the state's been capitalized. Well, I don't think that's how it looked in our example of what they said they're supposed to take. Well, this one is, right? But this one isn't, and the state isn't. Well, on hers it was. This one, none of them are. Well, on hers it was. So she didn't take either of these oaths of office. It's a counterfeit. That's the idea of a counterfeit. It's supposed to look real, but it isn't. Diane Jones. Well, Diane's got a middle name. She didn't use it. So that isn't her. Subscribed and sworn before me on January 3rd, 2017 by Lisa Posthumous Lyons, County Clerk Register, Kent County, Michigan. Did you know that this lady here wants to be the Lieutenant Governor with Bill Schuette? And yet she's creating counterfeit certificates, saying that, you know, that my county commissioner, as I was told, is actually in and for County of Kent, State of Michigan. Ah, here's that affidavit of identity that you have to put in. I got these, right, by just emailing, doing a FOIA request, Freedom of Information, to the county clerk's office, saying I wanted to have the oath of office and affidavit of identity or whatever other paperwork an elected officer has to have to run in your state. Just ask for it. Well, I got it within a couple of days. They didn't really mess around. It's like, well, outstanding. Right? But this is supposed to be an affidavit of identity. Now it says candidate identification, name. Now, we should really forget these things in parentheses underneath because that isn't on the line. The line says name. And so really you should put myself, Robert Allen Rytlewski, not Rytlewski, Robert Allen. That's like to guide you to, commit perjury, basically. The form is created to make you commit perjury. It's a false document, a court document. But she's, anyway, she's Jones Diane. She don't have a middle name, so she says. She's in the county of Kent. Right? But what office? Kent County Commissioner. Well, what did they say office she took? She's the county commissioner in County of Kent, State of Michigan, not the Kent County Commissioner. She's holding the improper office. Signature candidate, Diane Jones. Okay. Well, she actually has run a couple times, so she had two. And this one, hey, she's got a middle initial. I don't think her middle name is C. I think it's a middle initial. Well, how could she have one here and not have one here? One of these is a frickin' perjury. But she ran for Kent County Commissioner. Diane C. Jones. Well, she put it in there like it's her middle initial, which, of course, isn't her full legal name anyways. But it shows that she has a middle name, and she didn't use it either time. So she did not properly identify herself on an official document. It's not an affidavit. It's a false statement with a improper counterfeit certificate. I mean, how much more do we need to show? Here's some other crazy stuff, right? The Board of Canvassers for the County of Kent, State of Michigan. Sometimes they say County of Kent, Michigan. Other times they say County of Kent, State of Michigan. Sometimes they say Kent County, Michigan. But they hardly ever say, I don't believe I've ever seen Kent County, State of Michigan. Can't say that, but it just doesn't ring a bell. But I remember seeing all these other versions. Right, all these people running, using middle initials or, using nicknames, not their full legal name. First name, middle name, last name. No initials, no nicknames. Well, I wanted to show you, not so much for this stuff, but where was that thing? So anyways, the following propositions or questions were passed or defeated as indicated below. Right? Kent County Veterans Millage received a majority of votes, declared to have passed. Pay attention. Nelson Township Library Millage, having not received the majority of votes, is declared to not have failed. Well, that would mean it passed. No, it just not had failed. See how tricky these bastards are? This is your local government doing this to you. They're the terrorists because they're not the government. They're just pretending to be. They have false certificates in. Kent County, Michigan. Well, it just said County of Kent someplace. It just goes on and on and on. All right, State of Michigan, County of Kent. I, Mary Hollenrath. I believe she has a middle name, so that isn't who she is. She isn't the Kent County Register or Clerk. But she says she is. Do hereby certify that the general election held on Tuesday in 2012, William Bile received the majority of votes and duly elected the office of Drain Commissioner as determined by the Board of Canvassers for the County of Kent. I thought he ran for Kent County. How come the Kent County Clerk is telling me what's happening in the county of Kent. And witness there where I've signed and affixed the seal of the circuit court for the county of Kent. I don't see no seal. And it wasn't signed. So, they didn't really do this. It's a counterfeit certificate. Right? I asked them for one. I want the real deal, man. I don't want a frickin', I don't want a pretend. And so you get a few of these and you send them to your attorney general and say, this is evidence of election fraud. And make them answer the questions. Same thing here, right? County of Kent. She says she's Kent County until down here she's the county of Kent. Official vote totals. This is for Kent, let me say county, just Kent judge of probate court. Murkowski, David M. That is not his name. It's not his first name, middle name, last name. No initials, no nicknames. That doesn't quite work. So somebody who doesn't exist got 113,593 votes. Well, that's how you obstruct justice. You have people vote for people that don't exist. You're voting for a trash can. County of Kent. Right there. Witness thereof. Right now it's we. We got a whole bunch of people committing a crime now. Well, this is the Michigan Department of State. Bureau of Elections. State of Michigan. County of Kent. Board of County Canvassers' signatures. Well, you should all step forward. Say you didn't know or you did know. You're sorry you did it. Ask for forgiveness. Or you're going to a FEMA camp. Yeah. More. Just more of the same. Here's the lady that wants to be lieutenant governor. And she's got the same defects that my commissioner did. Constitution state. None of that's good. Right? She says she's the Kent County clerk, register of deeds in and for the county of Kent, state of Michigan. It just isn't going to work, people. You don't get to do that. That would be called a false commission. Because the government, the federal government says it's Kent County, Michigan. County of Kent, D. See, technically it is the county of Kent. If you look at a map, and you're looking at, these territorial boundaries, it's just called Kent, like it's called Michigan. Right? It's not called state of Michigan, it's just called Michigan. And then there, that's called Kent. But when that gets organized as an organized county, it becomes Kent County, not County of Kent. Kent County is the administrative arm of the state, and it may have created a thing called the County of Kent. But it's not Kent County. It's not the government. It's just an agency of the government. And so that isn't the office these people are taking. They're not taking offices in the County of Kent. They're taking offices in Kent County. So I don't know if she did this right or not. Is Lisa posthumous Lyons? I don't. That sounds like somebody using two last names and not having a middle name. Does Lisa have a middle name, right? Did Lisa posthumous have a middle name? No, is she an attorney? We could look at her attorney record. Nevertheless, right, her oath of office is a counterfeit certificate. Why is, beyond the fact that these are these people, when they get to this thing they call the County of Kent instead of Kent County, well, that's where they put all the federal money that's coming in to the county. It's supposed to be for Kent County, Michigan. And they account for it in a thing called the Comprehensive Annual Financial Report. So they say it's for County of Kent. And in this report, in mine, it says that unless otherwise indicated, right? All amounts are expressed in thousands of dollars. So, the first set of zeros is thousands, not, ones, tens, and hundreds. No, it's thousands. It starts at 1,000. The management of the county of Kent, Michigan. That isn't any county of Kent, Michigan. There's Kent County, Michigan. So this paper is written by This is, what somebody is bringing to the management details. Where did it say? I didn't think it was quite this long. So, figures. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, it does. Hang on a second. Okay, so we got our comprehensive annual financial report that every entity that gets public money has to, over a certain amount per year, has to have one of these done. This and there's another one. They have a single audit or something like that they have to have done. And right, this is saying County of Kent, Michigan. Well, what happened to Kent County, Michigan? Because that's what the federal government was sending the money to, right? They believe Kent County, Michigan is the proper appellation. And yet, this place called the County of Kent seems to be getting it. And the County of Kent, Michigan, elected officers, Board of Commissioners. Hey, there's Diane Jones in the County of Kent. I thought she ran for Kent County Commissioner, but this says, no, you're wrong, Rob. It was County of Kent, Michigan she ran for. And so did all these other places, right? Lawrence Stellman. He's not the Kent County Sheriff. He's the County of Kent Sheriff. Same with the Register of Deeds, the prosecuting attorney, the treasurer. None of them are holding the office that they ran for. Right? And Darrell J. Delabibo, County Administrator, was nice enough to write up this letter telling them about this whole, what's happening in the county. Making us aware of the, openly aware of the crimes they're committing. On and on and on. And that it's in thousands of dollars. So now that we know that it's in thousands, let's just look at net. It comes up in net. Net position. Most recent year so add zeros for that. Right, the net position. It's about $400 million net. There, but that isn't even close. That's net position. Net position, right? Add some zeros, it'd be $603 million net position in 2015. In 2016, 397. Do they add all those together? I mean, what is the net? The point is, when you look at these, the net position is in the hundreds of millions of dollars. So why do they need to collect any more taxes? They have a surplus of hundreds of millions of dollars beyond what they need to have for taxes. It doesn't stop them from collecting it in the county of Kent, not Kent County. Kent County doesn't need it. Its taxes were paid. Then why is the county of Kent still collecting taxes? Right? You're paying taxes to the county of Kent, not Kent County, and county of Kent isn't the government. Beat that horse to death. Okay. Yeah. So what do you think, Bill? Am I convincing you that there may be some election fraud? You need some more convincing? I have a few more to look at. So this is what it says. Hey, here's a news release, right? Kent County Board of Commissioners. The Kent County Board of Commissioners started the new 2015 session off this morning with annual oath of office for commissioners, including 3 new faces, data, and data. Well, they said that they're the Kent County Board of Commissioners, but as we saw, they say that they're actually holding office in the county of Kent. So something's amiss. All right, let's move on to this has to do with an ongoing case up in Kalkaska County. In fact, I didn't grab those. So. Okay then, Bill. Let me show you, well, one of your contemporaries, I would guess. Right, prosecutor and attorney for Kalkaska County. Prosecutor and attorney, Kalkaska, Michigan. What might we find if we looked at his paperwork? Well, we could find his affidavit of identity, which he didn't say he was Michael Perrialt. He said he's Michael Lee Orion Perrialt. And he's running for the judge of probate court. Well, right now, though, he's the prosecutor. He was appointed the prosecutor. Order appointed interim Kalkaska County prosecutor attorney. What office? Kalkaska County prosecutor attorney. That could be important in a minute. Right. The 46th Circuit Court judge hereby appoints Chief Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Michael L. Perrialt as Kalkaska County prosecuting attorney due to the resignation of interim prosecuting attorney Kirk A. Metzger. So it didn't say County of Kalkaska. It said Kalkaska County. But used a middle initial. And the guy that did it used a middle initial. So, well, this is just a counterfeit certificate in the county of Kalkaska. I mean, this whole thing is a... I don't see how you would ever consider this to be lawful. But it has been filed with the clerk of the court, or the clerk of the county, Kalkaska County Clerk. So it's a public record that it's a counterfeit. All right, so that's bad. Because he's running for an office of judge, he had to fill out one of these also. Affidavit of constitutional qualifications. So any judge would be doing this. He's going to declare, right, that's his full legal name. We can't dispute what he said his full legal name was. All right, I'm a candidate for probate judge of the county of Kalkaska. Well, does that mean he's leaving Kalkaska County? Is he moving? Or does it mean there's 2 venues sharing the same jurisdiction? You guys keep flip-flocking back and forth like we're not paying attention. Signature of candidate. I guess that's his signature. I don't know. We'll have to say that that's correct, but why would she change the date on her stamp? I can't see that as being properly done, but okay. But we know what his full legal name is. That's important. First name, middle name, last name. Middle names, last name. No initials, no nickname. Okay. When he took an oath of office, all of a sudden he didn't have a middle name. He had an initial. And only one, even though he's got 2 middle names. And this is on his oath of office for County of Kalkaska. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this state, and I will faithfully discharge the duties of prosecuting attorney for the office of prosecuting attorney for Kalkaska County according to the best of my ability. Well, that isn't the office that you took. So we could just begin at the beginning of things that are wrong. It's not County of Kalkaska. It should have been Kalkaska County. The C shouldn't be capitalized on Constitution on either place. And the state shouldn't be, if you ever see it, because you will. It shouldn't be, because that isn't the way it showed it. In the document that says to do it this way. Right? It's either in the Constitution or somewhere in your law. And in the law, Constitution isn't in either place. Neither is state. And in the Constitution, well, the Constitution of the United States is, but not the Constitution of this state. Not capitalized. It does make a difference. They just had a thing this week about Trump because he would capitalize country when he was talking about United States of America. With a capital C, not a lowercase c. This is all grammar stuff, which I'm not an expert at. I'm not even going to pretend to be an expert at it. But I know when, I know is what it is, and this isn't the office you ran for. Right? You said you ran for Kalkaska County Prosecuting Attorney. Then that's what this should say. Duties of Kalkaska County Prosecuting Attorney. Period. So this isn't the oath for that office. So it's a counterfeit. Or it's an error. You can fix it. But if you don't, well, then it's a counterfeit. Now, the counterfeit oathed individual pretending to be the prosecuting attorney for Kalkaska County, right, filed a felony complaint, which didn't have a complaining witness or complainant, and Deputy Ray Ferrier, whoever he is. I mean, that's not his name. That's his, right? Is it Ray, Raymond, whatever? Got a middle name, Ray? Because your name ain't deputy. That has to go. What's your name? That's the witness. Right, so all you troopers, which I don't have a problem with troopers, man. I love you all. Right? You're not my problem. The problem is you're taking bad orders. Now, I have to, I'm not going to laugh, but I have to ponder this for a minute. That Dana, the man that this is happening to, said that prior to the things that we had done, they used to pull people over all the time in Kalkaska County, and that isn't happening anymore. And that if you go to the Kalkaska County Sheriff's website now, it says that they have 15 police officers, and they have 15 certified police officers. Not deputies or something else. No, they've been certified, because that was one of our things, that none of these people are certified under MCOLS, Michigan Commission on Law Enforcement Standards. Every state has somebody that determines the standards to be a law enforcement officer, and they have to say that you are qualified before you can become one. In Michigan, you're supposed to get a certificate. I've asked for them numerous times. I ain't never seen one. I just assume they don't have them. So I say they don't when I'm writing things, and if they don't come back with one, then they don't. Well, now they say they've all been certified. So, good. And they're not pulling people over anymore. So, it's already a win. But if we look at this complaint, right, that counterfeit, oathed pretender to an office of prosecutor has scribbled something on, or somebody scribbled something for him, but it doesn't have a complaining witness. And the judge didn't sign it. So you can't use this as this is a simulated legal process, right? It's a false document. That would be an offense against the United States. And so would the one that was for the misdemeanor. Right? This has got a different scribble on it. Right? This is this scribble. So, Michael, you might not even be doing it. It could be somebody who's, stole your paperwork and is just pretending to be you, but you need to put an end to it. Because they're doing it under your name. And as we can see here, no complaining witness and no judge signed it. Okay? But that's not all. There was a motion in order to show cause that went into the 87B District Court, State of Michigan, which is not the proper plaintiff for a criminal matter. It's in the name of the people of the state of Michigan. They're the plaintiff. Dana Reed Smith, that's who they want to say it is, right? So they did this motion and affidavit for a motion in order to show cause, in which it said, I am interested in this matter as the plaintiff. Dana Reed Smith has not complied with an order dated 1/1/1900. They were saying Dana Reed Smith did not comply with an order dated 1/1/1900. What order would that be? I'd really like to know. By failing to, right, this thing with all these acronyms in it, which, like, well, if that's English, then I'm limited English proficient, LEP, because I don't know what that means. Well, I have a good idea what it means. I'm not going to guess. I have no idea what that means. So they were going to request that because Dana had not complied with an order dated 1/1/1900 and didn't do the acronyms, that he should be found in criminal contempt of court by a signature of somebody who didn't say how they're involved at all. In front of some judge named Han Lin M. Boudet. Well, there is no judge in the state of Michigan that has that name, right? It's a counterfeit. It's not a full legal name. Da-da-da-da-da. It just goes on and on and on. So, simulated legal process or forged alter, falsify, or otherwise avoid any record writ process or other proceeding in any of the court of the United States. They say that's what you're doing with these papers. Okay, one more round. We'll be done. Okay, so here's another one, a counterfeit certificate of election. This one was for it's from the state of Minnesota, Executive Department. Tim Pawlenty, governor. Well, that isn't Tim's full legal name, so that he isn't the governor. To the President, Senate of the United States, certified on the 4th day of November 2008. Al Franken was duly chosen by qualified electors. Al Franken is not Al Franken's full legal name, so he wasn't chosen by anybody. All right? This whole thing is it's a counterfeit. Tim Pawlenty isn't the name of the governor. Mark Ritchie isn't the name of the Secretary of State. And Al Franken isn't the name of the guy that ran for office. It's a counterfeit. Somebody has stole the things used in government, the office, and like the seal, and are making false documents. What else we got? Well, how about this? State of Illinois. This is from Bruce Rauner, governor of Illinois, who wants it to be known that Joseph H. McMahon is, made it in the county of Kane, state of Illinois, is the state's attorney. Well, how can that be? Because here's the oath of office, and there he had a middle name. It was Bruce Vincent Rauner. That's so he signed. He said he is the governor. So Bruce Rauner doesn't have any jurisdiction to do anything. That's not his full legal name. He is not the governor of Illinois. The governor of Illinois is Bruce Vincent Rauner. Right? Bruce Rauner doesn't work. Right? So now anytime you start seeing Bruce Rauner, it's like, well, that's a simulated legal process. Because he is the governor, so everything he does is like a document coming out of the court. Right? It's an administrative court. Bruce Rauner, da-da-da-da-da. Before Bruce was Rod Blagojevich. Remember, he went to jail for giving Obama's office to somebody else. Pay for play or whatever it was. Pay for play. Well, his name isn't Rod. I bet you he has a middle name. Right? Acting judge, you're going to appoint somebody an acting judge. Who? Somebody acting as a judge, because that isn't anybody's legal name. Peter J. Birnbaum doesn't exist. And so all of this evidence has been put in these offices, and Rosita got these by doing a FOIA to the Secretary of State's office. Right? The Index Department has them. Because as it turns out, Office Secretary of State, qualifications for county officers, right? That they had this list that says all these things that people are supposed to do to get elected. And one of them is to get a commission issued by a Secretary of State, right? That's who the county clerk gets theirs from. But all of these people are supposed to have followed all of these things, and it tells where their oath of office has been filed and where the commission comes from. So after they become an officer, they're supposed to send $2 with whatever documents is needed by the Secretary of State or whomever and get a certificate. And this was the state attorney. Issued by a Secretary of State upon receipt of bond, oath, certificate of election, and $2 fee. The problem is, this isn't it. It just looks like it is. Because he didn't run for an office in the county of Kane, and he doesn't have a freaking middle initial name. And Jesse White, he's got a middle name, and so does Bruce Rauner. So somebody has confiscated their identity and is using it, for their own purposes. If that makes any sense. God, I don't know why they're doing it, but they just need to stop. Right? Certificate of qualification of county officer. They got the same problem in Illinois that we have here, right? John A. Cunningham says he's the county clerk. Kane County clerk. Then why is it state of Illinois' county of Kane? Right? Clerk of Kane County. Here he was a Kane County clerk. Now he's a clerk of Kane County. And now he's saying that somebody got elected to the office of County of Kane. Well, how can somebody from Kane County say anybody in the County of Kane has been elected? As an official document. Well, then John went on to say that Patricia Del Santo is the regional officer of education as superintendent. Duly appointed to the Kane County Regional Office of Education as superintendent. Where? Kane County, not County of Kane. Seal of the Court of Kane County, what's that say? Seal of the County of Kane, State of Illinois. Well, I thought you were the Kane County clerk, John. Right, but there he is. He says Kane County clerk, and he's going to certify that Patricia is the Kane County Regional Superintendent of Schools in an improper venue. I would again say it's just, let's just call it what it is. It's called a counterfeit. Where was that one? He has one in here. You can see all these things, right? They say County of Kane, Cunningham, County Clerk of Kane County, but it's County of Kane. Clerk of Kane County, but it's County of Kane. Certificate of Election. I, John A. Cunningham, Kane County Clerk, do hereby certify that the person that's supposed to be the Circuit Court Clerk for Kane County, Thomas Tom M. Hartwell, was duly elected to the office of Circuit Court Clerk. What's that definition of full legal name again? Means an individual's first name, middle name, last name, or surname without use of initials or nicknames. Isn't that what Tom is? A nickname for Thomas? He didn't use his middle name? A few years ago, when Rosita was talking to Thomas and mentioned the word treason, that got his attention. He didn't like to hear that. I don't remember exactly what she said, but she put the word treason in there, and he took offense to the word treason. You need to be careful how you say that. Well, yeah, you're committing treason, Tom. You are. So is John A. Cunningham saying that Sandy Wegman was duly elected to the office of county recorder. Of what jurisdiction? Kane County Recorder? Or County of Kane? Because you're doing it in the County of Kane. So she's not the Kane County Recorder. Then why does she have the records for everybody who owns property in Kane County? Looks like a conspiracy. Hey, here's Joseph H. McMahon. Now he says he's the county's state attorney. But that isn't what the governor said he was. He said he was the state's attorney. Yeah, that's all the same problems. The guy isn't using his full legal name. Here it's Kane County. Here it's County of Kane, right? It's easy to find the things that are different. And you just need to say because they're different, it's a counterfeit, and submit your allegation, and now they got to answer it. Robert Rob Russell. That's like saying RobbbRyder is county coroner. Right? I'm county coroner. I'm RobbbRyder, county coroner. John A. Jack Cunningham. This is the county clerk. The dude that's doing all this, right? He said that John A. Jack Cunningham is the county clerk. Not John A. Cunningham. John A. Jack Cunningham. Aye. David, middle initial Rickard. County of Kane, state of Illinois. Not Kane County, Illinois. State of Illinois, County of Kane. So, Donald E. Kramer, county sheriff. Of what county? I thought he was supposed to be the Kane County sheriff. But that isn't what he was elected for. Nowhere in there does it say he's elected as the Kane County sheriff. If we were to go by what this says for county sheriff, what county? County of Kane. Well, we're going to find out the County of Kane, if anything, it's a public body of Kane County. So it's not the government, it's just an agency of the government. So, God, you can just see there's so many things that they've done wrong. Bill. We'll look at one last thing because it's election year. So let's look at a sample election ballot, Kent County. See if there's anybody here that looks like they may be, worth checking them out to see what kind of name they're using. Okay, view a ballot. Okay, well, I'm going to go with Kent County. Jurisdiction. Well, if I had to guess, I would say I'm in Oakfield Township. Although my address says Rockford, Michigan, I live 10 miles away from Rockford, Michigan. That can't be my jurisdiction. Let's view a ballot. Hey, there's Bill Schuette. That's a guy that's the Attorney General now, running for governor. And his sidekick is the current county clerk of Kane County. Although she's committing security fraud. Securities to the United States. She's committed an offense against the United States. She needs to go ahead and beg forgiveness. Because if you're prosecuted for any of these things and found guilty, you can't run for office. And while some of them have death penalty and they got really, really tough stuff, like, 39 lashes and so forth, that's what's written in the law, folks. Doesn't mean it can't be commuted or pardoned, but you still committed the crime. Attorney General, yeah, got people using middle initials and So we would have to check all these people out. How about the judges? Hey, Mark A. Trusock. Well, Mark, it's not your full legal name. Or yours. Christopher. Patrick. G. Patrick Hillary. You people aren't using your full legal names. And that is an offense against the United States. And eventually we're going to find somebody to have that stuff enforced. Even if it means going to the military and having them do it. Okay, well that's enough for today. You can see what kind of stuff we're dealing with. And again, I'm doing all this because of an email I got. Because I took the time to write them. From the Attorney General. There you are. Gee, hell, this mail came in today. All right, just find their email address online. MIAG was the email address for getting a hold of the Attorney General, and they responded. And so now I'll send them the letter they're asking for and tell them they should watch this video for more details. And that's a good day's work for Sunday. Okay, you all have a great day. I'm sure we'll be getting together again soon. But I am going to ask, hey, if you're still here and you watch the whole video, can you please donate? I need to pay my rent yet. It's like the 20th, and I'm not anywhere near there yet. There's your choices. Hope to hear from you soon. Have a great day now. See you. Bye-bye.